Hello everyone, my name is Mohammed and I'm a final year student of computational engineering at University of Stavanger. So today we have come up with a very interesting video, and that is about social sciences, because many of you have requested about this video and I think I'm not the right person to talk about it. So for this we have our very dear friend who is doing masters in social sciences from University of Stavanger, and we're gonna answer your questions, and his name is Muhammad Ali Kaif, and so let's move to that guy.
Hello.
Okay, hello. How are you doing?
5 minutes late.
Yeah, I know that. I'm sorry about that. So, bro, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Hello.
Okay. Hi. So, would you please like to introduce yourself first?
How about we do that with a cup of coffee?
That's a great idea.
Do you
Let's
want
do
to-
it.
Do you want to join me to Ferrigata?
Sure, let's go.
Let's go.
So finally, now we are having our coffee, and Ali, would you like to please briefly introduce yourself?
Um, yeah, I could definitely share my background with you. I'm coming from Islamabad, Pakistan. Like
Okay.
most of international students, coming to Norway was one of the big goals with a lot of ambitions,
Yep.
aims. I previously did my bachelor's from University of London in politics and international relations. It was an amazing experience. Getting a degree of LSE was quite challenging, but fruitful, especially when it came to applying to different universities for the master's program. I had a competitive edge in terms of many other students, and that was solely because of the educational background that I had. And coming to Norway was in fact not an option, was one of the priority, because the degree program that I really wanted to do was in renewable sector, and I couldn't find a country better than Norway focusing on renewables.
That's right.
So here I am, sitting next to you and being your friend.
Great achievement.
Since 1.5 years.
Okay. So let's start with the country first. How did you find Norway? Like, how do you think about Stavanger especially?
Mhm.
How is it as a student in social sciences?
Well, Norway, not many international students, not many countries, in fact, know how amazing Norway is. It's one of the most strongest countries in the world. Its social welfare system is completely different than what many developing countries are actually going through.
That's right.
And the factors which Norway has is impressive than many other developed countries too. Stavanger was not one of the cities that I ever even heard of. When I came with the intention that I have to live in Oslo,
Okay.
but tables turned, and now I'm in Stavanger. I still remember the first time when I came to Stavanger, I was thinking that whether it's going to be a small town, it's not going to be as amazing as I was imagining. But my perception largely changed when I came to Stavanger. I made really good friends. I love the city. It's a combination of a small town and a city, and
Alright.
it's not too noisy like big urban cities.
Yeah, that's right.
So I think it's and the best thing is that we are in the oil capital of Norway.
Yeah.
So this is the city that gives the boost to the economy.
Exactly.
So there are many opportunities in the city. The people are very nice. You get a good diverse environment in terms of student community.
Yeah.
I personally know so many students coming from different corners of the world, and that's the diversity that really matters when students plan on coming to Stavanger.
So if we talk about your experience as a student in University of Stavanger, how would you describe that?
Amazing. Let's just summarizing it into one word. I think it was an amazing experience being a student of University of Stavanger. I feel that the course outline of my program is quite different, and it's very new. So I am right now enrolled in Master in Energy, Environment and Society. That is a social science discipline within University of Stavanger. This program was introduced after the Paris Agreement of 2016. that wants to focus on sustainability,
Alright.
on transition to a low carbon transition, where governments and countries need to focus on how to reduce their carbon emissions.
Yeah.
We are having massive carbon emissions in the transport sector, in many industries, in many sectors of the economy. But
Sadly.
yeah, sadly, but now we are trying to focus our research on what we can do in order to create sustainability. So, having a degree in such a diverse and multidisciplinary area, I feel that it's quite different, it's new, and coming to Norway in itself is a very productive opportunity for me and my career prospect. Because, like I stated before, Norway was not an option, it was a goal. Because I wanted to pursue renewables, and I can't find any better country than Norway when it comes to renewable energies.
Okay, so how is the course outline? Like, is it really challenging? Is it more theoretical, practical? And also talking about your class environment, like how many international students do you have in your class?
Oh well, I'm just going to go in the first thing that I stated, which led to this point which you just asked me.
Yeah.
In my class, there are not many international students. So when I said that I have a small competitive edge, was the fact that there was a lot of competition when it came to giving the opportunity to international students, because there are many Norwegians in my class. Well, as far as I can recall, I think if of a class of 70 students, we're probably 10 international students or 5 international, something like that. So I think there's a lot of competition when it comes to the local students, because the locals are extremely intelligent when it comes to research, especially in the
Yeah.
renewable sector. They find this opportunity as a promising opportunity for their future prospects. So I had when I came, so I was thinking a lot of challenges, whether Norwegians would be very accepting to internationals, whether I would be edged out, whether I was just because a very small ratio of international students in my program. So I kind of realized that all my thinking, my perceptions was wrong when I was coming to
Okay.
Norway. It was an amazing experience. I came, I made friends with a lot of Norwegians. They're like family to me now. And the course outline is that we have a lot of group work.
Okay.
So if you don't have people who are inclined or probably know how the system is or how the study programs are in Norway, it becomes quite challenging for you to actually understand what the course coordinator or the course teacher is demanding from the students. So I think I had a lot of support from my classmates, and the program outline has a lot of different courses that involves from renewable technologies, like we study about solar panels, windmills. We study about different transition that happens, like in Norway, how electrical vehicles are coming into the market, and it's actually taking over the fossil fuel driven cars. And we also look into different research methodologies. We look into the impact assessments, that are some skill sets that are really important when it comes to the job market. So I think this program in itself is so multidisciplinary that
Yeah.
there's not one approach. Like right now, I'm writing my thesis on solar panels in terms of business model, like how we could make business in the emerging markets.
That's really
So
interesting.
and you can make it towards business models. You can make it towards technologies. You can take it towards research. So it really depends on where you want your future to be.
Okay, that's really interesting to know.
Yeah.
Like, this degree is so wide and multidiscipline. So, as a student, like, we all know that being a student, we are concerned about the future. What do you think is the future of this social sciences degree, and most particularly about your degree in the future, especially in Norway, and if you talk about in general about Europe? So, what do you think is the future?
Well, when it comes to social sciences, the fun fact is that there's no promising job. So
Okay.
you can mold into any shape.
Uh-huh.
You can mold into any kind of because, like, for you, if I'm not wrong, you were in data science,
Yeah,
right?
that's right.
So for you, you know that this is where I graduate and this is where I'm going to work. So for social sciences, it's very broad. You develop some abilities, you develop some skill sets, and then once you do it, then you shape yourself into different demands of the market. In terms of my degree, we are largely focusing on three areas: energy, environment, and society.
Okay.
So it's a correlation. So where we kind of make our connection to the job market is that Norway and slowly, gradually, many developed countries and even developing countries are having different departments within their organization focused on sustainability goals. What are they doing for the environment? Even you go, the other day I was looking into a very small company. They also had a sustainability goal of what we can do to make our footprint of carbon emissions. We should monitor. How should we monitor it? So I think that's where we kind of mold ourselves. We kind of make some skill sets. We
Yeah.
kind of meet the demand of the businesses. So it's kind of I feel that the opportunities right now have started to be to come into shape, and within the couple of years there are going to be a lot of opportunities, not only in Norway but around the world.
Interesting. So that means if a student is coming from an international background, he has to actually struggle a lot to get a place in the market.
Did I say struggle? No.
But I feel
no.
like, yeah, you were.
So because there's the difference, because we're social sciences, right? So
Yeah.
engineering and social sciences is quite different.
Okay.
Social sciences, we tend to have we love challenges.
Okay.
Because we love analyzing those challenges.
Yeah.
We love to put our perception, and we like to interpret challenges in our own way. So it is challenging. I wouldn't deny that. Of course, it is challenging when you don't know the Norwegian language.
Yeah.
But we always love challenges, and I think we always like to make it come into our shape. There are examples, many international students securing good jobs in the social science discipline. I have a friend who was who studied social work. He secured a job in an NGO within the refugee department, where all the refugees and asylum seekers are coming to Norway. Similarly, there's also another friend of mine. He came from Mexico, and he studied master in risk analysis. That's also social science discipline. And he also secured a job. So I'm crossing my fingers. Maybe
Yeah.
if something can turn around, then I would be able to explain better how challenging it is in the job market. But so far, I'm writing my thesis, and wouldn't deny that I applied to 3 different companies to write my thesis, and all 3 of them accepted me. So
That's a great achievement.
yeah, and I feel that it is there, but of course, because when the companies are actually focusing on different transitions, right, and they want to look into how the future of their organization can look like in the future, the Norwegian model wants to focus on how the Norwegian system would be. And
Yeah.
if the official language we put it on the table, then it is Norwegian. So it could be a challenge, but Norwegian language in itself is not very hard to learn. So I've just started learning it. I've passed A1, A2. Hopefully, if I want to stay in Norway, I want to integrate further, I
Yeah.
should enhance my language skills, because
That's a sure thing.
that's how we're going to get opportunities. And I
Exactly.
think we need to grab opportunities. They are there, but we need to work hard. We need to develop skill sets, and one of the skill sets would be probably Norwegian language.
So now let's come to the admission criteria to your degree, because a lot of people who wanted to apply for this degree or who wants to apply for this degree also are interested to know what are the requirements. Like, would you please briefly tell some of the basic requirements?
The good thing about my degree in specific, Master in Energy, Environment and Society, the program accepts students from different disciplines.
Yeah.
So we have engineers in the class, we have nurses in the class, we have doctors in the class, we have it's really it's quite surprising.
Yeah, that
when
is,
when you
actually.
think about, like, we have like my friend is a nurse, and we have people from political science background, we have engineers,
Okay.
environmental engineers, who wants to focus on policies, who wants to focus on what can be done in sustainability. So I think it's very broad, but when it becomes broad and you have limited seats, so it becomes very competitive.
Challenging, yeah.
Yeah. So to have, I mean, it would be, I mean, like, you need to have a good profile, especially for the international students. We need to have a good profile. We have to have a good academic profile, because the program is very demanding. It's very, if you don't understand how to do researches, if you don't know how to write essays, it's very difficult for you to survive or maybe just get good grades in the program. So you need to have a good profile. You need to have a good GPA. I think the minimum requirement is like normal programs, like a minimum of 3 GPA.
Yeah.
But the more you have, the more chances
Exactly.
that you get. I personally had 3.75 GPA.
That's really good.
Yeah, so I mean, maybe that could be one of the factors that led me to be in one of the chosen students from the international community. I remember having a discussion with one of the course professors who was handling the admissions 2 years ago, and she did inform me that there were around 300 applicants. 300 to 500 applicants only for international students, only for this program, and out of which there were only 5 to 10 students being selected. They're planning to increase the capacity with the high inflow of students, but it gets so you have
Who
to
knows
work
when
on
it's
your
gonna happen?
so just take away from what the requirements could be. One is definitely maintain a good GPA. Second, have a good profile. Maybe if you haven't worked after your bachelor's, try getting some work exposure. Try getting like a year and a half or 2 years of work experience, because that's how you can probably get into the upper ranking within the admission criteria. Then we also need an impressive personal statement.
Okay.
That's the cover letter that we need before we apply. So the cover letter has to be very impressive. You need to express your motivation in the program, and then a bit of luck.
Yeah. Okay, so Ali, if we talk about the opportunities as a student in university, what are the opportunities? Like, a lot of us tend to work as a part-time student, but do you think there are enough opportunities within the university?
Well, I worked with my professor as a TA, so there are opportunities, and I think I was probably the only student who worked with the main professor as a teaching assistant. So there you have an answer that opportunities are there.
Only if
And
you
I
can
think
grab them.
Only if you grab them, if you have a good approach, if you
Yeah.
have a good understanding with the course discipline, then there are opportunities. And one really nice important fact that the course professors are very renowned professors, and that's a very plus thing. So when you work under those professors, then you get a lot of exposure as well. So I personally worked with a Norwegian political scientist. So
Okay.
his name is Olaf, and he is the program coordinator as well, and he's one of our professors, and he's one of the renowned professors.
And I think that's a huge opportunity as a student.
Yeah, it is.
You
it
got a
is,
lot
yeah.
of connections.
Yeah, a lot of connection, a lot. Even if you have an experience of working as a TA, I think that summarizes
That
everything.
counts, yeah. Okay, so there is one thing that's striking in my head, and that is I have heard that renewables is a field for engineers. Is that right? But then, how, as a social scientist, no, not the scientist, but how, as a social science student, you come in and play your role in renewables?
And this is, this question is actually very interesting, because this is what our program is about.
Okay.
There are one set of skill sets that are engineers that work on field,
Okay.
and we work on back end, in terms of policies, in terms of researches, in terms of putting impact analysis on what an impact of a project could lead to. For instance, if we have to have solar panels in commercial buildings, or maybe industries, different manufacturing industries, we need to do, like, our role as social science scientist comes in when we have to do our researches in terms of putting our analysis, how well this project could lead to, what are the counter effects, what are the prospects, and when your work comes in is in the operations, in terms of field work.
Okay.
So I think this is where a slight difference we could probably draw, and I think it's very, very interesting that you have some expertise that could actually tell you what an impact of a project or an impact of any idea could be. So I think this is where our work comes in. We put researches, we put analysis, and that's what social sciences is about.
And let's just quickly wrap up the video, talking about our second last question, and that is, what are the most famous universities for this program, like the well-renowned universities?
Um, in fact, all the universities in Norway, if we take Norway as an example, so all the universities are offering some kind of degrees related to renewable energies and sustainability, energy transitions. We have the University of Oslo, that is one of the pioneer universities to offer programs in the sustainability discipline. We have programs in NTNU. We have a very renowned program in University of Stavanger. We have programs in University of Edgar, University of Bergen. So we do have a lot of opportunities and
all
to
over
learn
Norway.
all over Norway, because this is the forte.
Cool. I think this was a really interesting video where
Yeah.
we get all the things that we need to know.
Yeah.
But let's just quickly end up the video with anything else you want to share.
You need to tell me one question.
Okay, what?
What do you think about the environment in Norway?
The environment, it's really breathable. The air is breathable, and I feel like it's so much fresh. And whenever we go out, like the mood really changes, just at the moment. So, what do you think about it?
Norway is in fact one of the very few countries in the world
Yeah.
that has the cleanest environment at the present day.
Mhm.
For a fun fact, Norway, like most of us know, is an oil-rich country.
Exactly.
But it is one of the very few countries that is actually reducing its carbon emissions, and probably it's working towards the Paris Agreement, making the world completely carbon neutral.
That's right.
So I think this is the beauty of Norway, that they are active in the oil business, but they're simultaneously managing their carbon emissions and reducing carbon emissions and focusing a lot on the renewable energies.
Exactly, and I think that's the best thing about Norway, because at least we have been to many different countries, but Norway is the only country I like the most out of other countries, I think.
Yes, and I think just because they're focused on the renewable energies, they're
That's
giving
right.
more opportunities to people. They're giving
Yeah.
more opportunities to people to pursue different career pathways.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
and one of the best thing about my degree program is also that it has a lot of opportunities in this country and
Yeah.
in the future.
That's right, absolutely. So, Ali, I think that was a really productive day with you, and a lot of students, I hope, find this video really informative for them. And
Yeah, if in case anybody needs any kind of support while applying to any social
Yeah.
science program, you can get in touch with me.
Yeah.
You can get in touch with Vakar. He can, send me your
Yeah,
questions and concerns.
we will have
And
your Instagram over the video. I think people can. get-
That's important.
Yeah, that is important, actually.
And,
thank you for the coffee, by the way. It was really fantastic.
And it's a nice cold winter evening.
It is
Vakar.
actually,
So I
yeah.
think we should caption this cozy winter evening with Vakar, Shokat, and Abu Zar
Abu
Ghafari.
Ghafari.
He's behind the camera.
Yeah, he's actually working hard.
But thank you very much, Vakar, for having me.
You're welcome. It was my pleasure to have you on the video, and I hope you find this video really helpful for you guys. And as Ali mentioned, if you need any more information, you can always get in touch with him and with me and Abuzar as well. We're always there for you. And if you like this video, make sure to subscribe to the channel.
Subscribe to the channel and share this video with your friends.